The Mercedes G-Class will be on your mind if you've recently browsed a celebrity magazine or been to Harrods. This luxurious SUV with square sides known as the G-Wagon is popular among the rich and famous. The G-Class was created by Mercedes as a military vehicle that could travel practically any place, and it was originally introduced in the 1970s. Mercedes G-Class is an extremely capable off-road vehicle. Before we continue, please smash that like button, share, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the channel and put the notification bell on so you don't miss our next video. The vehicle has had numerous major changes over the years, but at first glance, a new G-Class doesn't look all that different from an early one. This is still a traditional 4x4 with tough suspension, a separate chassis, and a high center of gravity. However, it is significantly more expensive than the normal 4x4. While it may appear to be a Teutonic alternative to the Land Rover Defender in terms of styling, the G-Class costs almost the same as the Range Rover or a well-optimized BMW X7. Fortunately, beneath the austere look is the kind of luxury you'd expect in a car costing six figures. There's plenty of leather, a sophisticated entertainment system, and all the intelligent driving technology Mercedes has to offer. The Mercedes-AMG G63 is a G-Class with AMG tuning and a V8 engine for even more power. For your Mercedes G-Class, you have a choice of two engines, a practical 3.0-liter six-cylinder diesel in the G400D, or, if you really want to push the boat out, a 4.0-liter V8 with a pair of turbochargers in the AMG-tuned G63. Despite the fact that this massive SUV weighs at least 2.5 tons, the diesel engine is more than enough for most drivers. In our tests, the 0 to 60 mph pace of 6.3 seconds surpasses the more powerful Range Rover D350, and with plenty of pull from low in the RPM range, accelerating up to motorway speed is simple. For something this large and hefty, the G63 delivers an interesting change of pace. Any car that can go from 0 to 62 mph in 4.5 seconds is remarkable, but the fact that this boxy luxury SUV can do it feels even more impressive. The engine and the exhaust, which are positioned down the side ahead of the rear wheels, provide an appropriately theatrical soundtrack. When both provide quick acceleration in a straight line, if you try to utilize too much power when turning, the stability control indicator will illuminate. The G-Class's high ground clearance and soft suspension are perfect for rugged terrain but detract from its handling. It's worth noting that the current G-Class offers a significant improvement in ride and handling over its predecessor, but the grip is scarce around turns. Even with large tires and adjustable suspension, the stability control reacts quickly. The tall, hefty body pitches and bends substantially, and the G400D feels increasingly unwieldy as you push harder. Body lean becomes even more obvious as you try to thread it down a twisting route with gusto. A Range Rover still leans in corners, but it seems more capable than a Mercedes-Benz G-Class, flowing from corner to corner with ample grip. When you start driving, you'll note how slow and heavy the steering is and how many corrections you must make to maintain it in a straight line. The Range Rover's quicker steering reaction makes it easier to maneuver on the road. But if you want sharper and more feel-some steering from your luxury SUV, consider the BMW iX. The G-Class's huge turning circle also makes low-speed maneuvers more difficult than on most competitors. Furthermore, if you put your foot down from a stop, the G-Class takes a long time to accelerate away as the 9-speed automated transmission battles to find the proper gear. Once you're moving, it shifts effortlessly through the gears. Despite the adjustable suspension, this isn't a particularly smooth cruiser. The live rear axle, which combines the car's drive shafts and differential into a single rigid unit, causes the automobile to rattle and heave on rough road surfaces. Even in the most comfortable setting, your head will be flung around on undulating country roads. The G400E drives like a well-kept pickup truck on the highway, which is not surprising given that it shares the same basic layout as the Mercedes X-Class. While the ride and handling aren't outstanding by luxury SUV standards, that's somewhat beside the point, because the G-Class has always been a robust 4x4 in the old-fashioned sense. Indeed, a low-range transmission, differential locking, and extensive suspension travel make it highly capable in the rough stuff, boosted by the live rear axle's freedom of movement. Even if you have no intention of scuffing its costly alloy wheels by doing anything as foolish as driving it off-road, it's good to know that it can if necessary. The engine noise of the G400D is quite low, whereas the V8 engine in the G63 produces a mild dramatic rumble in the background. The G-Class has substantially more road noise than typical luxury SUVs, and the bluff windscreen generates a lot of wind noise at highway speeds. Few people will have difficulties getting used to driving a Mercedes G-Class. The steering wheel, seat, and pedals all line up beautifully, and there's plenty of space for your left foot. The main controls are situated on the doors, and electric chairs with a memory function are standard. To adjust the lumbar support or activate the optional massaging seat function that comes with the G manufacturer package, you have to dive inside the infotainment system. The seat's side bolsters are also upgraded, so they actively tighten up in the corners to keep you upright. Once seated behind the flat-bottom steering wheel, you'll see a pair of 12.3 digital displays, one for infotainment and one in place of traditional dials. Both are easily customizable and have razor-sharp graphics. The dashboard contains more buttons than many premium SUVs, and most of them are really useful. The air conditioning controls eliminate the need to navigate a touchscreen menu, as seen in the BMW iX. However, the low positioning of the clock and shortcut keys makes them difficult to read. Alternatively, you can use the steering wheel's touch-sensitive pads to manage the infotainment and the dials respectively. They can, however, be bothersome. Unintentional contact can force the infotainment system to alter radio stations or the trip computer selected panel of information. The interior of the G-Class feels more robust than that of many competitors, giving the sense that it can withstand excursions across tough terrain. There's plenty of soft leather and appealing finishes, so it's far from utilitarian. The G manufacturer page's expanded leather option makes it even cozier. As is often the case, the Mercedes G-Class has increased in size as it has aged. The current model is longer and wider to accommodate more passengers and cargo. Despite being thinner than many rivals, including the Range Rover, there is more than enough breadth to avoid colliding with your passenger, and there is plenty of headroom, especially with the electric sunroof installed. Rear seat headroom is still generous. The tall, boxy design means occupants may wear top hats if they want to, and legroom is ample. The floor has a little hump, but it's not large enough to force the center back passenger to straddle it. Seating options are quite basic. Most competitors have a more adaptable 40-20-40 split rather than the G-Class's 60-40 split, while the BMW X7 and Range Rover have seats that fold electrically. Nonetheless, the seat base of the G-Class lifts up, allowing the backrest to sit flatter than in the Range Rover. The 667-liter boot, much larger than the Bentega's but far short of the Porsche Cayennes, suggests there should be ample space for all but the largest Harrods store. If you want a 7-seat luxury SUV, look at the X7 or the long wheelbase Range Rover. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click down below and leave me a comment about which supercar you prefer to have. Thanks for watching.